The wind was calm over the green hills of Sector 8. Birds flew across the sky, and the sun shone bright over the human colony. Taring walked along the fence line with his old scanner in hand. His job was to search for broken parts from old machines. He liked walking alone, away from the noisy colony. Suddenly, a strange sound came from above. Taring looked up and saw a long fire streak moving through the sky. It moved fast. His eyes followed it as it passed over the hills and crashed into the forest with a loud boom. A cloud of smoke rose behind the trees. Taran's scanner beeped. It had picked up an unknown energy source. He narrowed his eyes. Something had fallen from the sky, and it was not human. He took a breath, checked his tool belt, and started moving toward the crash. His boots made soft sounds on the dry leaves. Birds flew away from the trees as he entered the forest. The scanner beeped louder now. He followed the signal carefully. After a few minutes, he reached the crash site. The ground was black and hot. Trees had burned down around a silver pod that was shaped like a seed. Steam came from the cracks in its surface. Blue lights blinked along the sides. Taring stepped closer. His scanner showed symbols he had never seen before. The pod made a clicking sound, and a small door opened. A girl fell out of the pod. Taring jumped back in shock. The girl lay still for a moment. Her skin was smooth and pale with a soft shine. Her hair was silver, and her eyes were large and purple. She wore something strange. It looked like a tight suit, but it moved slowly like it was breathing. The girl sat up and coughed. Her hands touched her chest and arms. The suit moved with her touch. Taring noticed the suit was not made from metal or cloth. It was something alive. He stepped closer and said, "Are you hurt?" The girl looked at him but said nothing. Taring pulled out his small translator device and turned it on. He held it close to her mouth. She spoke in a soft voice. "Where am I?" "You are on Terra 8, a human colony." "What are you?" "I am Lena. My ship was attacked. I escaped." Taring looked at her closely. "Are you wearing armor?" "Yes, but it is not just armor. It is living. It is afraid." She stood up slowly. The armor around her arms tightened as if it was trying to protect her. Taring raised his hand. "I will not harm you." The armor glowed blue and then became still. Lena took a slow breath. "It reacts to my fear. The more I feel danger, the more it holds me. We need to get away from here," Taring said. "Others might come." She nodded. Taring led her through the trees. They walked in silence. The scanner stayed quiet now. Birds had returned to the trees. They reached a small shed near the back of the colony. It was Taran's old storage place, where he kept spare drone parts. He opened the door and guided her inside. "You can stay here for now. No one comes here," he said. Lena sat on a box and looked around. The arm around her arms moved slightly and became smooth again. Taring sat across from her. "Tell me more about your armor." She looked at him. "It is part of my people's technology. We grow it. It bonds with the wearer and protects them. But now it does not trust anyone. It is scared. So it squeezes me to keep me safe. Can you remove it?" Lena shook her head. "No, not while it is afraid. It thinks I will die if it lets go." Taring stood up and grabbed a water bottle from the shelf. He handed it to her. "You need rest." She took the bottle and drank slowly. The armor stayed calm. "I don't want to fight anyone," she said. "I only want peace." "I believe you," Taring replied. Night fell. The stars were bright. Above the shed, inside, Lena lay on a thin blanket while the armor stayed wrapped around her like a shield. Taring sat by the door, listening to sounds outside. Suddenly, a loud knock came. Taring stood quickly. He opened the door slightly. 2 guards were outside. "We saw something crash," one of them said. "We tracked energy signals here." Taring shook his head. "I didn't see anything." The guard looked at the shed. "Can we check inside?" Before Taring could answer, a soft voice came from behind him. "I am here." The guards pushed the door open and stepped inside. Their eyes grew wide when they saw Lena. One guard reached for his radio. The arm around Lena responded fast. It wrapped tight around her, forming sharp points and glowing lines. It looked like a beast ready to attack. Stay back, Tarin shouted. She is not dangerous. The armor reacts to fear. She is alien, one guard said. This could be a weapon. She ran from war, Tarin replied. She is just trying to survive. Lena stood slowly. Please leave. I don't want to hurt anyone. The armor moved slightly but did not strike. It waited. The guards looked at each other. One of them stepped back. You should report this, he said. Tarin nodded. I will. The guards left. Tarin closed the door behind them. Lena sat down again. The armor loosened and returned to normal. I can't stay here long, she said. We will figure something out, Tarin replied. You are not alone now. Lena looked at him with calm eyes. Thank you. Tarin gave a small smile. He looked at the armor. It was alive and strong, but it was also afraid, just like her. The next morning, soft light came through the cracks in the wooden shed. Tarin opened his eyes slowly. He had fallen asleep sitting against the wall, holding a wrench in one hand for safety. Across the room, Lena was awake. She sat with her knees close to her chest, her silver hair falling over her face. The armor still covered her body like a second skin. It looked calm now, smooth, resting. Tarin stood and stretched. Did you sleep? Lena nodded. A little. The arm relaxed. Tarin poured her some water from a metal bottle. She took it with both hands. I'm going to the lab today, he said. I'll ask a few quiet people if they know anything about living armor. I won't tell them about you. Thank you, Lena said. Tarin looked at the armor. Is it alive like a person? It is not a person, she said. But it feels. It can sense danger, pain, and fear. It wants to protect. That is its purpose. Tarin picked up his scanner and opened the door. Stay inside. If someone knocks, don't answer. Lena gave a soft nod. Tarin stepped out into the morning air. The colony was busy now. Small carts moved on the main path, and workers carried tools and wires. The lab was on the west side, near the communication tower. Inside the lab, Tarin found his old friend, Mara. She was a repair technician like him, but smarter with strange machines. She stood by a broken drone, trying to fix its arm. Mara, Tarin said, what do you know about biotech? Armor that grows like a plant and reacts to emotions. Mara raised an eyebrow. That's rare. Some alien species use it, but it's not common. Most armor is machine-made. Why? Just curious. I found some old files on my scanner. Maybe from before the colony was built. Mara nodded. If you ever find that kind of tech, don't touch it. It can bond with the nervous system. Some of it refuses to let go. It sees everything as a threat. Tarin kept his face still. Is there a way to calm it? Maybe. If the host feels safe, the armor can relax. But the bond must be strong. Fear makes it wild. Tarin thanked her and left the lab. On the way back, he bought some fruit from a vendor. The sky was clear, and birds flew over the rooftops. He kept thinking about what Mara had said. Fear made the armor tighter. Safety made it loosen. When he reached the shed, he knocked gently before opening the door. Lena was sitting by the window, watching the sky. She turned as he entered. I brought food, he said. He handed her the fruit. Thank you, she replied. She bit into the soft fruit slowly. The armor on her arms stayed calm. I talked to someone smart, Tarin said. She said your armor reacts to feelings. If you stay calm, it won't squeeze. I try, Lena said. But the armor listens more to my fear than my words. Maybe we can help it trust. Lena looked down at the armor. It saved me many times, but now it does not know peace. Tarin sat on a crate. Maybe we can teach it. Suddenly, Lena tensed. The armor rippled like water. Tarin stood quickly and looked at the door. A sound came from outside. Voices. Then a knock. Tarin whispered, hide behind the shelf. Lena moved quickly and hid in the dark corner. The armor curled around her, forming a thin shield that blended with the shadows. Tarin opened the door slightly. It was the same to guards from before. We have orders, one said. A scan from yesterday showed a strange life reading near this area. Could be a broken machine, Tarin replied. We still need to check. They pushed the door open and stepped inside. One of them scanned the room with a small device. The scanner beeped once, then stopped. Nothing here, the second guard said. The first one looked around. Strange. The signal was strong. He walked near the shelf. Taran held his breath. Behind the shelf, Lena stayed still. The armor had covered her completely, hiding her shape and heat. The guard turned back. Maybe the reading was false. They stepped out. Sorry to bother you. Taran closed the door after them. His hands were shaking. Lena came out from the corner. The armor slowly returned to its normal form. She looked tired. They almost found me, she said. They didn't. Your armor protected you well. I don't want to run forever, she said. I wanted to feel safe. We'll keep working on that. Taran replied. He walked over and sat beside her. Let's try something. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Lena followed his voice. She closed her eyes. Her chest rose and fell in a calm rhythm. Now think of something warm. A place that makes you feel safe. She was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke softly. There was a garden on my world. It had tall blue trees. Birds sang. The sun was gentle. Taran noticed the armor was moving slower now. It became smooth and soft. You're doing it, he said. Lena opened her eyes. The armor looked peaceful. It's working. That means it can learn. She gave a small smile. You helped me feel safe. That night, Taran made a small bed for her using old cloth and foam. He gave her a small light cube that changed colors. She held it like a soft memory. Taran sat by the door again. He looked at the stars through a crack in the wall. The world was full of danger, but something inside him believed that Lena and her armor were not a threat. They were just afraid, like all living things, and fear, when treated with care, could become trust. The next day started quiet. The colony was busy with daily work. Carts moved through the streets, carrying metal parts and food crates. The sky was clear, and the air smelled of fresh soil. But inside Taran's mind, there was worry. He stood in the shed, watching Lena as she cleaned a broken tool. She had asked for something to fix, something to keep her mind calm. Her armor was softer now, smooth like tree bark. It moved gently, not tight like before. You're getting better. At this, Taran said. Lena smiled. It listens more now. It trusts you. Taran sat beside her. The guards will come back, maybe with someone higher in command. I know, she said. They will not stop looking. We need a new plan, Taran said. We can't hide here forever. Before she could reply, a knock came. Taran stood quickly and walked to the door. He opened it halfway. It wasn't the same guards this time. It was Commander Rask. The man was tall, with a sharp face and dark eyes. His uniform was clean, and he carried a tablet in one hand. Two officers stood behind him. Taran. The commander said, We need to talk. Taran stepped outside, closing the door behind him. Double quotes, yes. Sir, scanners show strange signals near this shed. Life forms, non-human. There are animals in the forest, Taran said. We checked. This signal is not from the forest. It came from here. Taran kept his face calm. I haven't seen anything. Commander Rask looked into his eyes. Do not lie to me. If you are hiding something, it could put the whole colony at risk. I understand. Rask stepped closer. If there is alien tech here, you must report it. That is the law. I know the law, sir. The commander turned away. We will return. If we find anything hidden, you will be removed from duty. Taran watched them leave. His hands were tight with pressure. He walked back into the shed. Lena stood by the wall. She had heard everything. They know, she said. Not yet, but they will come again. And next time, they will not knock. Lena touched her chest. The armor reacted, tightening slightly. I don't want to run, she said. But I won't. Let them take me. Taran walked to the corner of the room. He opened a small hatch in the floor. Below was a hidden tunnel used long ago for transport lines. We can move you out of here. There's a cave outside the colony. No scanners reach. There, Lena looked at him. Will you come with me? Taran nodded. I won't leave you alone. She smiled for a moment. then turned serious. The armor is growing stronger. It's learning fast. I can feel its thoughts more clearly now. Is that good or bad? I don't know. But if it thinks someone wants to hurt me, it may strike. Before I stop it, Tarin thought for a while. Then we need to keep it calm. As long as it trusts me, maybe it won't see me as a threat. They packed what they needed. Tarin took his tools and the food bag. Lena kept her light cube and a small device from her pod. The armor wrapped around her like a coat, tight but smooth. They moved into the tunnel. The light was dim, but Tarin had a small lamp. The tunnel was cold and smelled of old wires. They walked for 10 minutes until they reached the other side. The exit was hidden behind thick bushes. They pushed through and came out near the edge of the forest. A small rocky hill stood ahead. Tarin led her up the path. At the top was a cave, half covered with moss. "This will work," he said. Lena walked inside and sat down. The armor became quiet again. It liked the silence. Back at the colony, Commander Rask prepared his team. He had not believed Terran's words. He ordered a full scan of the area. The signal from the armor had been clear, and now it was gone. That meant someone had moved it. "We track him," Rask told his men. "He is hiding something dangerous." One officer asked, "What? If the alien attacks, then we neutralize it. Human safety comes first." Tarin and Lena rested in the cave. He used stones to block the entrance a little, just enough to hide the light inside. Lena looked tired, but calm. "I used to live near a mountain like this," she said, "before the war." Tarin looked at her. "What happened to your home?" "The armor was created to defend us. At first, it worked, but later, it started choosing who to protect. Some were left behind. Was it a mistake?" "No. The armor follows logic, not feeling. It saves the strongest." I didn't agree. I ran. Tarin understood now. She had escaped both war and control. She wanted freedom, not just safety. "Maybe here you can choose your own path." Sadachi smiled. "Only if they let me." Later that night, Tarin checked his scanner. A red dot appeared on the edge of the screen. "They're coming," he said. Lena stood up. The armor moved fast, covering her fully. "Do not fight," Tarin said. "I will not start a fight." She replied. Footsteps came closer. Voices shouted from below the hill. Then a flash of light filled the cave entrance. "Come out," a voice ordered. "We know you are in there." Tarin stepped out first. He raised his hands. "Don't shoot. She is not a threat." Commander Rask stepped forward. "Step aside, Tarin." "I won't. She is wearing alien tech. That suit could kill. She doesn't want to hurt anyone. The armor only protects her." Behind Tarin, Lena walked out slowly. Her armor was smooth but firm. Her eyes were steady. Rask raised his weapon. "Take it off," he ordered. The armor moved tight around Lena. "She can't," Tarin said. "It's alive. It knows she's scared. Take it off." "Now," Rask shouted again. The armor grew sharper, brighter. "Stop," Tarin said to Rask. "You're making it worse." But Rask didn't stop. He stepped closer. The armor pulsed. Lena gasped. The armor squeezed around her, trying to protect her from the threat. The air was thick with tension. Commander Rask kept his weapon pointed at Lena. Behind him, two soldiers held shock rifles. Their fingers rested near the triggers. Tarin stood between them and Lena, his arms spread out. "She's not your enemy," he said again. "Lower your weapon." Rask didn't move. His eyes were locked on the living armor that covered Lena's body. The armor had changed again. It now glowed with a deep red light, and sharp edges rose from her back and arms. It looked ready to strike. "She's wearing alien tech," Rask said. "It's reacting to our presence. That means it's a threat." "No," Lena said calmly. "You are the threat." Her voice was steady, but her breathing was heavy. The armor had started to squeeze her again. It was trying to protect her from danger, but it didn't understand that its grip was hurting her. "Tell it to stop," Tarin said. "I'm trying," she whispered. "But it doesn't listen when I feel fear." Tarin turned to Rask. "You need to stop pointing that weapon. It only reacts when it senses danger." "We cannot take that risk," Rask replied. Lena winced. The armor pulled tight around her chest and arms. Take it off, Rask ordered once more. I can't, Lena said. It's part of me. The soldiers took a step forward. The armor flared in response. Blue lights ran across its surface. Small spikes formed near her shoulders. Please, Tarin said. Back away. Let me calm her down. Rask hesitated. His eyes moved to the glowing armor, then back to Tarin. Slowly, he lowered his weapon. The soldiers did the same. Tarin turned to Lena. He stepped closer, holding his hands out. Listen to me, he said softly. You're safe. I'm here. No one will hurt you. Lena looked into his eyes. Her breathing slowed. She thought about the garden she had told him about, the blue trees, the warm wind. The armor began to change. The red glow faded. The sharp edges became smooth. It loosened its grip and returned to its resting form. Rask watched with wide eyes. It responded to you. She trusts me, Tarin said. The armor does too. Rask stepped forward. Slowly, we still need to study it. That kind of tech could be dangerous. Lena shook her head. I will not go with you. I know what your labs do. We don't harm visitors, Rask said. Tarin stepped in. You would take her apart. You would call her a subject, not a person. She is carrying alien technology. She is also trying to live in peace. Rask paused. His mouth stayed closed for a moment. Then he looked at Lena. If we let you stay, others may fear you. Then let me stay hidden, she said. I don't want to fight anyone. Rask looked at his soldiers. They were confused. One of them whispered, She didn't attack. That armor could have killed us. But it didn't. Finally, Rask turned away. I'll give you time. But the council must decide. I can't protect you forever. He and his men walked down the hill. Tarin and Lena sat back on the stone bench near the cave. The night air was cool. Stars covered the sky. You did it, Tarin said. No, Lena replied. You did. You calmed me. I only spoke. You controlled the armor. Lena placed her hand on her chest. The armor followed her fingers. I've never made it stop before. Never this fast. It's learning. It's listening. Tarin looked at her face. Do you think it feels? Yes. Not like we do. But it knows pain, fear, safety. It doesn't speak with words, but it understands. Feeling. Maybe it doesn't need to be removed. Maybe it can become part of your new life. She smiled for a short moment. That's what I hope. Later that night, Lena had a dream. She stood inside a room made of glass. Round her, floating lights blinked like stars. In the center stood the armor, not on her body, but in front of her like a shadow. It pulsed with soft blue light. It reached toward her, not with arms, but with energy. She touched it. She felt everything it felt. Long years of battle, fear, loss, pain. It had protected others before. Some had died wearing it. Others had rejected it. She was the only one who had listened. The armor had not wanted to control her. It had only wanted to protect. But fear had made it act on its own. She opened her arms. In the dream, the armor wrapped around her slowly. This time, it didn't squeeze. It fit like warm water. She woke up before sunrise. The light from the sky was soft and orange. Tarin was still asleep. Near the entrance, she stood and stepped outside. Birds flew across the sky. The wind was calm. For the first time in many days, the armor felt like part of her, not something holding her prisoner. Tarin woke and joined her. You look rested, he said. I had a dream. The armor showed me its memories. Memories? Yes, it remembers. The people it tried to protect. It feels guilt when it fails. Tarin nodded slowly. It's more than a tool. It's alive, just like us, back in the colony. Commander Rask stood before the council. 5 members sat around a table, listening to his report. She is not violent, Rask said. But the armor is unknown. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could be a danger. Did she attack you? One council member asked. No. Did the armor act on its own? Yes, but it only reacted when threatened. Another member spoke. Then perhaps it is not a weapon. Perhaps it is like an animal, loyal, but defensive. Rask said nothing. The council lead leaned forward. Bring the girl to us. We will speak to her directly. If she can control the armor, and if she wishes peace, we may offer her shelter. Ras gave a slow nod. Back in the cave, Terran's scanner beeped again. A message appeared. The council requests your presence. Come peacefully. Lena looked at Tarin. Are you ready? He asked. She stood tall. Yes. The armor moved gently across her back. It was no longer afraid. It was ready to meet the world. The sun was rising as Tarin and Lena walked toward the colony gates. The road was quiet, and the wind carried the soft sound of birds. Lena's armor had changed again. It was smooth, calm, and almost clear. It wrapped around her like a soft shell, moving with her instead of holding her tight. Tarin glanced at her as they walked. Are you sure you're ready? Lena nodded. Yes. The armor is listening now. It trusts. Guards opened the gates without stopping them. The message from the council had already reached them. No weapons were raised. No one shouted. People stared, but they did not step forward. Some whispered. Some pointed. A child waved. Lena looked at the child and smiled. The armor round her hand shimmered in reply. The child laughed, and the mother pulled him close. They walked through the main path until they reached the tall white building. At the center of the colony, the council room was on the top floor. A guard led them inside. Tarin and Lena stood in front of 5 council members sitting behind a curved desk. The middle one, a woman with gray hair and a strong voice, spoke first. I'm Councillor Ven. We have heard much about you, Lena. We have also seen your actions. You did not harm anyone. Though you had the power to, I did not want to harm. Lena said, I only want to live in peace. Councillor Ven nodded. What is that armor you wear? Lena placed her hand on her chest. It is called Lura. It is alive. It protects me. But it also feels fear. When it senses danger, it reacts. Is it a weapon? Another councillor asked. It can be. But only if I allow it. Councillor Ven leaned forward. Then it obeys you? Yes, now it does. Before, it only followed my emotions. But it is learning. It now waits before it acts. One of the younger council members asked, Can it be removed? Lena shook her head. It is bonded to my body. If someone tries to force it off, it will fight back. It thinks I will die if it is taken away. The room was silent for a moment. Then, Councillor Ven spoke again. You came from another world, a world at war. Yes, Lena said. My people created Lura to protect us from destruction. But it became more than a tool. It chose who to save. I did not agree with that. I escaped, and you chose our colony as a place to hide? I didn't choose. My pod crashed here. But now, I wish to stay. I did not ask for control. Only safety. Councillor Ven looked at Tarin. You hid her? Yes, Tarin replied. Because I believed she was not a danger. She didn't attack anyone. I saw the armor with my own eyes. It responded to calm words. Not once did it strike first. Another councillor asked, Could this technology help us? It might, Tarin said. But if we treat her like an object, it will never help us. The armor protects her, not us. We have to earn its trust, like she did. Councillor Ven stood. Lena, we cannot speak for all people in the colony. Some fear what they do not understand. But we can offer you protection for now. You may stay. In the outer zone, Tarin will stay with you. Lena bowed her head. Thank you. The guards led them out of the building. Outside, a few people stood in silence. They didn't cheer. But they also didn't shout. That was a good sign. Later that day, Tarin and Lena moved into a small home near the edge of the colony. It was simple, with 2 rooms and a small garden. The house was old, but quiet. Tarin cleaned the table while Lena walked through the garden. She touched the flowers gently. The armor on her fingers turned soft like silk. It feels safe here. She said, I think it's the garden. Tarin replied, Reminds you of home, a little. The trees were bigger there, but the colors feel right. At sunset, they sat together on the porch. Do you think that people will accept you? Tarin asked. Some will, some won't. That is how it always is. But you're not afraid anymore. I still feel fear, but I'm not ruled by it. Tarin looked at her. In the armor, It feels like part of me now, like breath, like memory. That night, Lena stood in front of the mirror. She placed both hands on the armor across her chest. It pulsed with soft light, not red, not blue, just a warm glow like morning sun. "I am not your prisoner," she whispered, "and you are not. My weapon." We walked together now. The armor shifted gently in reply. Outside, someone stood near the gate of their home. It was Commander Rask. He didn't come in. He only watched for a moment, then turned and walked away. In his hand was a small report. It said the armor had changed. Its energy signature had become more stable, less violent, more controlled. He folded the report and put it in his pocket. The next morning, Lena stepped out of the house to see a small package at the door. Inside was a simple cloth dress and a note for the girl who made the armor trust. She held the dress for a moment, then looked at the armor. The armor loosened around her shoulders, then moved aside slowly. It uncovered her back and arms, leaving only a thin layer behind. Like a second skin. It no longer squeezed. It no longer feared. For the first time, it let go. 2 weeks passed in silence. The people of the colony slowly stopped staring at Lena when she walked through the market. Some even smiled. A few children waved. One girl even touched the armor on her arm and laughed when it shimmered. Tarin helped fix old machines in the workshop, and Lena planted herbs in their garden. Life was peaceful for a time, but peace never lasts long when the sky is watching. That night, the sky cracked with fire. A long red streak fell across the stars. It wasn't a normal meteor. Tarin saw it from his window. "That's not from Earth," he said. Lena stepped outside. Her armor moved without her telling it to. It wrapped tight around her legs and arms, ready to protect. She didn't stop it. The streak fell beyond the hills, far from the colony, but not far enough. Tarin opened his pack and checked his tools. "We have to go. If it's one of yours, we need to know." Lena nodded. "Yes, it could be a hunter." They took a small hover cart and drove into the night. The hills were quiet, but smoke rose in the distance. By morning, they found the crash site. It was a small silver ship, broken in half. The trees around it were scorched. Ash floated in the air. Strange symbols marked the metal skin. Lena walked slowly to the wreck. The armor on her chest pulsed, then changed shape. It formed small wings on her back and longer blades near her hands. "It knows this ship," Tarin said. "Yes, it's from my planet." A sound came from inside the wreck, a voice, weak but sharp. Lena ran forward and pulled the broken door aside. Inside, a young alien man lay on the floor. His leg was burned, and part of his body was covered in cracked armor, darker and thicker than Lena's. He looked up and smiled. "Lena, you lived." Lena knelt beside him. "Taro, why are you here?" "I followed your signal. The High Council sent me. They want the armor back." Tarin stepped inside. "Is he dangerous?" Lena didn't answer. She looked at Taro. "You shouldn't have. Come, they think you stole it. They think you'll give it to the humans. I didn't steal it. It chose me." Taro coughed. "It doesn't matter what we believe. They are sending more ships. They want to bring you home, alive or dead." Lena stood up. Her armor changed again. It hardened at the shoulders. Small black lines ran across it like veins. "They'll bring war," she said. Tarin helped carry Taro out of the ship. They placed him in the hover cart and returned to the colony. On the way back, Lena said nothing. She only stared at the sky. When they reached the gates, Commander Rask was already waiting. He had seen the fire in the sky too. He looked at the injured alien, but did not raise his weapon. "Inside now," Rask said. They moved Taro to the medical room. Rask closed the door and turned to Lena. "Who's he?" "He's from my world. He's not here to fight, but his people will be." "Why?" "Because they think I betrayed them. I left the war. I broke the rule. I walked away with something they think belongs to them." Commander Rask walked to the window and looked out. "How long before they arrive?" 3 days. Taro said from the bed. "Maybe less. They won't talk. They'll take her by force." Rask turned to Tarin. "You knew this could happen." "Yes. But I didn't know they'd find her so fast. We need to prepare." I'll alert the council. Lena placed her hand on Rask's arm. Don't fight them with guns. They have better weapons. They will crush you. Then what do we do? Rask asked. Lena looked at Taro. Let me speak to them. They won't listen, Taro said. They might. She replied, if they see me not as a soldier, but as someone who found peace. The next day, the skies turned red. 2 large ships entered the upper sky. Everyone in the colony could see them. They looked like dark birds, wings wide and sharp. Alarms sounded. People rushed into shelters. Tarin stood next to Lena on the watchtower. Are you ready? No. But I must go anyway. Rask handed her a small radio. We'll be listening. Lena walked alone into the open field outside the colony. The ships above made no sound. Then, from one ship, a small pod dropped and landed gently on the grass. A tall alien stepped out. His armor was pure black, smooth and cold. His eyes were silver. Behind him, 2 guards waited. He looked at Lena. You left the war, he said. I chose peace. You abandoned your duty. I saved myself. You carry something that does not belong to you. No, Lena said. It chose me. The black-armored alien took 1 step forward. Come with us now, or we take you by force. Lena's armor moved. It did not form weapons. It did not glow. It only covered her body softly, like a robe. I will not go. This is my home now. The alien raised his hand, but before he could speak, a voice came from the colony speakers. It was Tarin. Her armor doesn't belong to you anymore. She has changed, so has it. If you bring war, we will not run. We may not have your ships, but we have something stronger. The alien tilted his head. What is stronger than war? Choice. Tarin said. Lena looked up at the ship. Go back. Tell them I am not their soldier. Tell them I found another way. The alien watched her for a long time. Then he turned. He entered the pod. The guards followed. The pod rose back into the sky and returned to the ship. 1 minute passed. Then the ships turned and disappeared into the clouds. No bombs. No fire. Just silence. Lena turned around and walked back to the gates. The people were watching from the walls. No one said a word until she stepped inside. Then someone clapped. Another followed. Then more. Not loud. Not forced. Just real. Lena stood still, and for the first time, she smiled. After the alien ships disappeared, the colony returned to life. No war came. No fire fell from the sky. But something had changed, not just in Lena, not just in Tarin. The people felt it. They had seen power arrive from the stars, and they had seen it turn away without a fight. Commander Rask called a meeting at the council hall. Everyone was there. Lena stood near the wall, her armor calm, no longer sharp or bright. Tarin stood beside her. Rask cleared his throat. We faced something that could have destroyed us. But we are still standing, not because we had better weapons, but because someone chose peace instead of fear. He looked at Lena. She did not need to fight to prove her strength. She needed to stay. There was silence in the hall. Then someone clapped again. Not for fear this time, but for respect. Later that evening, Tarin and Lena sat by the hill outside the colony. The sky was quiet now. Stars blinked gently above them. You were brave, Tarin said. Lena looked at the stars. I was tired of running. You didn't have to face them alone. I wasn't alone, she said. Tarin smiled. The armor on her body had changed. It no longer looked like a weapon. It had become part of her skin, smooth and light. It didn't squeeze or tighten when she moved. It followed her gently. I think it has accepted your new path, Tarin said. It has. It listens now. Does it still protect you? Yes, but only when I choose. The next day, Lena walked into the workshop and helped fix the wind filters. She taught the children how to plant skyberries in dry soil. She even helped the cook prepare bread. Though she burned 1 loaf and laughed for the first time in months. Taro, the injured alien who had followed her, was healing slowly. His ship was beyond repair, but his mind had changed more than his body. I thought you were weak, he said to Lena one evening. And now, she asked, I think you are the strongest of us. Taro stayed in the colony. He learned to build solar walls and repair broken lights. He did not wear his armor anymore. A week later, a small shuttle arrived from Earth. It carried news, supplies, and one visitor. A woman in a gray suit stepped out. Her name was Mira, and she was from the United Earth Council. I came to meet the alien girl, she said. Lena stood by the gate. I'm not just an alien, she said. No, Mira replied. You're a symbol. Now, the council had heard what happened. They saw the sky ships. They read the message that was sent. A full report. We want peace with your people, Mira said. Lena shook her head. They are not ready. But you were. I was broken first. That made it easier. Mira looked at the living armor. And what about that? Is it a threat? Lena held out her arm. The armor shifted into a soft cloth, then back to skin. It's a part of me, like your mind is a part of you. Can it be shared? Only if it chooses. Mira nodded. Then we won't take it. But we want to study, learn, and maybe understand. Lena looked at Taring. I'll help, she said, but not as a test subject. As a teacher, Mira agreed. From that day forward, the colony became more than a farming post. It became a place of learning. People from Earth came, quietly, carefully, not with guns, but with questions. Taring built a new lab with help from the council. Lena taught them what she knew about her people, the armor, and how it felt to be lost and found again. Even Commander Rast softened. He opened the gates to new traders, new voices. Still, there were some who feared the future. Some who whispered about the armor, about what it could do if turned against them. But fear no longer ruled the colony. One day, a child asked Lena, will you ever go back to your planet? Lena thought for a long time. Maybe, but not to fight. Maybe to help someone else find what I found here. The child smiled. You mean a friend? Yes, a friend. Years passed. Taring became known as the first human who worked with living alien armor. He never cared about fame. He only wanted to protect the people he loved. Lena became something more. Not a soldier, not a weapon, but a bridge between two worlds. She wore her armor not with pride, but with peace. The armor itself changed as time passed. It grew lighter, softer. One day, it split into two pieces. One stayed with Lena. The other moved to a small tree outside the colony wall. It wrapped around the trunk and pulsed like a light dot. No one touched it, but they all watched. Some said the armor had grown tired of war, just like its host. Some said it was waiting for someone else, someone brave, someone kind. Lena did not try to control it. She only smiled. One evening, as the sun fell behind the red hills, Lena and Taring sat outside again. Do you ever miss the fight? He asked. Double quotes. No. I miss silence more. Taring laughed. What do you think the armor will become? He asked. Maybe a shield. Maybe a seed. Seed. Lena pointed to the small tree wrapped in armor. It grows. Maybe one day it will become a part of this world. Taring nodded. That would be something. She looked at him. This place saved me. You saved yourself. No, she said. You reminded me how. And in that moment, quiet and still, two worlds touched again. Not with war, not with orders, and not with fear, but with understanding.